Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today I would like to prepare for you Danish pastry with vanilla pudding on top and some crumble to it. Vanilla pudding reminds me a little bit of custard, and there's so many of us who love the taste and flavor of custard. It was actually my friend who asked me, can you make those buns for me? I really have a craving for it. And right away in my mind, that would be a good thing to put on a video. I am very excited to present it to you today. I will have to start with cooking my pudding first. And the part with the pudding, the tricky part is that you will have to use a little bit less of milk versus what your directions on your package say. Usually, the regular vanilla pudding says 500 milliliters of milk, which is about 2 cups. You will have to put 400 instead. You will need to make your pudding a little bit thicker. And this is what you do first. Cook your pudding, cover the dish, and let it cool off slowly. While you're waiting for the pudding to cool off, then you will make the dough. So it works out nicely. I am very excited to make those buns. My whole family loves them, and my neighbors around also. Welcome to my kitchen and thank you for watching. For those buns, I will need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, which is about 500 grams, a little less than half a cup of sugar, 3 egg yolks, 4 tablespoons of softened butter, 250 milliliters of warm milk, vanilla extract or vanilla sugar, and about 10 grams of dry yeast. And of course the pudding, and additional milk to make that pudding. And that's what I need for my delicious buns today. First thing to do is cook your pudding. So instead of 500 milliliters of milk, put 400. Make your pudding a little bit thicker. Pudding was something I ate a lot when I was a little girl. I can see the bubbles, so now it's time to put my powder in. You don't want any pieces of that starch in there, so mix it well. Another 30 seconds of boiling and I can turn it off. Pudding is ready. I'll set it aside. And I do want to cover it because I don't want the pudding to dry out on top. Now, time to make the dough. I've got my milk warmed up and I have about 2 teaspoons of vanilla sugar in there with a little bit drizzle of honey. I love to use honey for anything I do with yeast. It works so well. And it tastes wonderful. And I can put my yeast in it. Regular packet is about 7 grams and I will need about 10. I added additional 3 grams in there. So now my yeast will take a few minutes and I can put my other ingredients together. 4 cups of flour with a pinch of salt. Salt helps the gluten and everything come together. I want to make sure I don't forget about that pinch of salt. Sugar, egg yolks, softened butter, and a few drops of that vanilla extract. And now I'll wait for my yeast to be foamy and I can mix it all up. Nice and foamy, it's ready to go into my flour. Once my ingredients are all incorporated, I will use my hands to mix the dough. And scraper is a wonderful tool to have. It will take about 5-6 minutes of mixing. And if you have a KitchenAid and you want to use it, then that would be a good hook to use it. I'm just the person who loves to do everything with my hands in the kitchen. I use it sometimes for bigger projects, but if it's something small, then I rather use my hands. But you are welcome to use the machine instead. My dough is a bit sticky and that's how it should be. You want your dough to be nice and smooth, sticky to my hands, but not sticky to the ball. my dough is ready and I need to cover it and leave it until it doubles in size. If you have a warm house, 45 minutes would be enough. If your house is a little bit cooler, it might be a little more than an hour. So just watch, and if it doubles in size, then it's ready to form your pastries. For me, it's been 45 minutes, and now it is time to check on that beautiful dough. And you can see how fluffy. Wonderful. So just a tiny bit of flour, and then I will take my dough out. So fluffy, like a cloud. So I need to flatten it again so the air escapes, the bubbles, and then I can divide my dough into pieces and form my pastries. I like to divide them using the scale so my pieces are almost the same. I'm aiming for about 68 grams. 68. So now I form some kind of a ball, and then I will flatten it and put it on my cookie sheet. And I need some space in between one and another as they will grow, so I don't want them to touch each other, because if they do, they will be sticking. And I will move my camera so you have a better view. I don't want my kids to be fighting about who gets bigger, so it is very important for me to make them the same size. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. When you have your pudding and then crumble on top, those little imperfections won't be visible no more. And once you have it in your mouth, you won't think about those things. It will be just the taste. So one tray is ready, and what I want to do is flatten it a little bit more using a glass. And I might dip it in some flour so it doesn't stick. And those I will cover and work on another tray. And my dough is growing while I'm doing this, like I can feel it. It is so fluffy. It is so delicate. And I can see the bubbles popping. It seems like the pieces are getting bigger and bigger now, but they still weigh 68 grams. It is so fluffy, and I can see the air escaping, like I can see the bubbles pop. Just beautiful dough. Another tray is ready, and I will repeat the same thing. Flatten it. I need to create a little dent for my pudding to go in. So I've got 6 and 6, so that's 12. And I'm guessing I will have 3 more. If you can see how fluffy and delicate that is. And the bubbles. Just a beautiful dough. It looks like I have 18 pieces out of that recipe. So now I can put this away. While those are resting for a few minutes, I will make crumble, because crumble will go on top. And now for the crumble, I need sugar, butter, and flour. About 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter, and I like to use butter from the fridge, cold butter instead of warm butter. And I have about 5 tablespoons of flour. I'm not going to put all of it, almost all of it. I want to see how the flour incorporates the butter and sugar first. And if you want to add a little bit brown sugar to it, or you love cinnamon and you want to add some cinnamon, then you can do that also. If you like vanilla sugar, you can add some vanilla sugar. So you can customize to your liking. And I can see that I need a little bit more flour. So my crumble will be ready, and I will put it in the fridge for those few minutes, because cold crumble is even better. I love to put just a tiny bit of brown sugar in it, so that's what I'm going to do. Maybe 1 teaspoon. I just like the flavor. And when do you know when your crumble is ready? When you squeeze it and becomes one piece, it sticks together. But then you touch it gently and becomes apart, then your crumble is ready. Okay, so this will go in the fridge for a few minutes. My pudding cooled off enough, so time to put the pudding on my buns. So it's been maybe 10 minutes and my buns got bigger. So I will put the pudding on them, 1.5 spoons of that pudding on each one, and then the crumble on top. But there's one thing that I want to mention and give you an option on. If you want your buns to be even more crunchy and good looking, you can have 1 egg beaten, and before you put the pudding on, your crumble will also stick better when you do that. Just put around the edges that beaten egg. Not necessary, but it makes a difference. I will leave one without it, so on the end I'll just show you visually how it looks like. Just around the edges. And I will move my camera in a little bit so you can see better. And your buns will grow even more in your oven. They will expand. So don't be afraid to go far on the edge with that pudding, so you have it almost through the whole bun. You want that delicious pudding all over your bun. This one doesn't have the egg wash, and the rest of them do, just to kind of show you the difference between putting the egg wash or not. Okay, so one is ready. Okay, time for the other one now. You can see how fluffy and nice it is, how airy, beautiful. I will preheat the oven to 350, and when I'm done with putting the pudding on them, they will go into the oven for about 20-25 minutes. Since the pudding is so thick, it is a good thing if you mix it up before you start putting it on your buns. It has been a while since I've done it, and this is childhood memory for sure. We had so many pastries with that kind of a feeling of a pudding. Oh, kids loved it, just loved it. By my school there was a bakery, and that bakery had sweets. Oh, anytime we got some money from grandparents or aunts, whoever, we knew where the bakery is with those delicious buns. It was money well spent. And now, when I have my pudding on top, I can put my crumble on it. And also, I did not put that much sugar in the dough itself, because as you know, pudding is sweet and then you have the crumble. If I did put too much sugar in my dough, it would be way too sweet. And finally, those are ready to go in the oven, 350 for about 22-25 minutes. I always give myself 5 minutes extra to check on anything I bake. 5 minutes is always good to have to check if your buns or whatever you bake need additional time. Finally, last one. And now I will give myself that extra 5 minutes just to be safe. So I will set my time for about 18 minutes so I know when to check on my buns. I had a bad oven before that burnt everything I baked, so I rather check and make sure that they need additional time. Perfect oven and perfect time, 25 minutes. So this is my time to check on them. And since I have them of 2 different shelves, I also want to move them around to make sure that they bake evenly. So now I will put it for additional 5 minutes. I know they do need it, and I will show you how they look like when they are done. Altogether, for me, it's going to be 24 minutes. Finally, the goodies are ready. Woohoo! Look at those. Unfortunately, my husband is on keto right now, but I'm not. More for me. Aren't those beautiful? Nice crumble, nice crust. The one without the egg yolk around. You can see a little difference because it is lighter in color, and also it's the texture of it. The ones that I put the egg wash on, it's more crunchy. So it's really optional how you prefer to make it, with the egg wash or not. But that's the difference here. Enjoy those wonderful, tasty, delicious buns. Buon appetit, smacznego, and thank you for watching.